Hello and welcome back to LDF-Designs. Today's video I'm going to be working on the 6x6 ampersand encaustic board panel, and I am just doing a real quick lesson or painting using charcoal and encaustic. That's just about it. So I took this encaustic board. If you're not familiar with this product, it already has encaustic gesso applied to the surface, and I'm using a couple different kinds of charcoal. One was just the block, and then one is this pencil, and I'm putting that onto the surface, making some marks and moving it around. And then I have a little bit of chalk paint mixed with a tiny bit of drywall compound, and I'm just using that to create a little bit of tone and movement into the charcoal. Once I had this where I wanted it, I did shut the camera off and take my heat gun to it and just dried it very, very well. You want to make sure when you're using encaustic that anything you're putting in the underpainting is completely dry. So I went ahead and dried it, and once I did that, then I went ahead and started applying the encaustic. If you're fairly new to encaustic, it is important to note that you need to fuse every layer that you put down. There are some instances where you can put some lighter multiple layers before you fuse, but in this situation with this big broad surface, I'm just fusing in between each layer of encaustic that I lay down. One of my goals with this project today was I really wanted to keep it simple. I was trying to use minimal products, minimal colors, and just see what kind of movement and shapes I could create with just the charcoal and the surface of the substrate. So once I got it to this point, I decided that I wanted to add just a little tiny color. So I found this red thread in my stash and pulled that out and dipped it into the encaustic, and now I'm fusing it onto the panel. I'll also be using a little bit of white encaustic and some Payne's gray as I go. I was struggling a little bit because I tend to be drawn towards a textured surface, and so I started to add this string, or I did add this string. My original intent was I wanted to try to build a little bit of wax on the top of this, but I didn't like the shape. Once I get it all on here and placed and I add the encaustic, I decide I really didn't like the shape. So in just a moment here, I'll be peeling the majority of this string back up and scraping off that excess wax. It is such a nice thing with the encaustic that you can take some leaps of faith and try things, knowing that if you don't like it, you can just kind of peel it back up and fix the wax. It can be a little more challenging when you're using lots of wax colors, and I'm only using clear for the most part. Once I had that little partial string laid there, I decided instead of doing a texture with it, I would go ahead and put some of this Pearl X powder on it, which is I think it's an Aztec gold is what it might be called. Again, just trying to add a very, very subtle color onto this black and white piece. I got to that place in the painting where I wanted to add more things, but I also didn't want to cover up what I had on the panel. It's a really tricky place to be, and I tend to need to learn more when to draw back. So at this point, I just started adding again a little texture with the white encaustic, building it up layer by layer, infusing in between, just to create some more surface tension. Once I finally got this where I wanted it, I did end up stopping, and I took a couple pictures here for the video. I did end up putting this into a black frame, and I'll have some pictures of that over on my Instagram page. Thank you for watching, and please give me a like and subscribe.